starting a new podcast.
Yay!
It's this. You're listening to it. It's called Televised, the TV movie story. And we're talking about made-for-TV movies, or sometimes movies that got bought by TV stations and released as TV movies, but were not made for. Or sometimes two-part miniseries, or three-part miniseries, or things that are under 3 hours and are movie-like
Uh,
to a
w-
degree.
we're still out on like whether we're doing long like three part. Actually, I think we said 3-part 1 hour episode miniseries are fine, but that's the
Yeah,
limit. But I don't think we're doing like miniseries that are just shorter episodes.
like
Yeah.
I think one of the ones you mentioned was Over the Garden Wall, which
And
I don't think that's
yeah,
still on
I
our
took that
list.
off the list. I took off like Pokemon Concierge off the list
Yeah,
too. But we're sticking to 2 episode or on a rare case 3 episode miniseries.
there's
And then
exceptions, and it's our rules. We can do what we want, but if it has a letterboxed page and we feel discerning enough to include it on our list, which is at like 3,000 movies at this point, we're not gonna.
very discerning.
If we were to do an episode every week, it would take us like 60 years to do everything on our list. So there's a lot on there that we will never do. But it's nice to have a pool to pull from, as we'll talk about. But yeah, it's this is just something that I brought to Eliza just like on a whim over the summer. Like, hey, you ended your podcast, and I've had this idea for a podcast brewing for like a few weeks, so we should probably do this.
Yeah.
And
It stuck.
yeah, it grew from there, and now we're here, and we've recorded 2 episodes already, so like no turning back now. We're in it for the long haul. But
Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the long haul.
sure, that's probably one of those. Um,
It is.
I believe you. There weren't ever any TV movies of that, right? All of those got
Uh,
theatrical.
there was a Disney Plus original, I'm pretty sure, but I'm
Right.
not sure if that got a theatrical release as well.
Yes, that's one of the other things that we should mention here is that streaming is a mixed bag as to what counts because there are Netflix movies that are like Oscar movies, like Power of the Dog or The Irishman or Roma or whatever. Those don't count. Those did get theatrical releases as well as streaming releases. But there's other Netflix movies like
Unfrosted.
Unfrosted. Yeah, that's the one. That's the Netflix
That's the
movie. No,
big
but
one.
there are Netflix movies and streaming movies that did not get theatrical releases, and how we're judging that is mostly were they Emmy eligible, and that's what we consider TV movie. If the Emmys, the TV people, decided that it was a TV movie, so like El Camino was a Netflix streaming movie that was Emmy nominated, and so that counts for our list. And that's going to
Mhm.
be a lot of what the recent ones are, other than like Lifetime and Hallmark, which is in and of itself a whole can of worms that we will very often refer back to, I'm sure. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, I feel like I've been steamrolling this whole intro.
Oh,
Do you want to?
it's just
Right.
like there's no reason to like let you stop. It's just like what, like I'm just going to say most of the same stuff you're going to say, but
Well,
it's I don't even know what to talk about now. It's just
do you want to tell the listeners
oh,
what
how we
our
picked the
first?
episode. Oh, I could
Yes.
also say the
Okay.
first
Yeah.
four, but
Yeah.
I will say like how we're going to be picking these is going to change each month. Like sometimes we'll have just like a random number generator. Like we'll shuffle the list and pick the top four that are there. And sometimes we will each pick a few episodes. Maybe one month I'll pick 4 episodes. Maybe one month Gordon will pick 4 episodes. And we each have like our priority lists. And so maybe we'll be picking from those, or maybe we will just randomly pick them. Or maybe there'll be a
Uh,
theme. Like for Halloween, we'll
yes.
probably have 4 horror themed ones because there's so many horror themed TV
Yeah.
movies. Uh,
Or for December, we'll do 4 horror-themed movies
ex
because I no. We have had a lot of friends and former guests on both of our previous or concurring ongoing podcasts that have already reached out to us and picked out movies that they want to do. So we'll have guests a lot of the time. And if you want to guest on this podcast, message us
Let
on the
us know,
various
please.
places. We don't have social media set up for this podcast as of yet, But if you're listening to this podcast, you found it somewhere. You can find us. You can reach out to us in various places because guests are always welcome. And the pool is like I said, we have more than 3,000 movies to go to on our letterbox list that I'm sure is available and you can peruse and pick out stuff. So like, you're not, you're likely not going, well, I mean, there's some very popular ones on the list that like
Oh
may
yeah.
get snatched up or just done earlier anyway. But like, yeah, absolutely. Anyone is welcome if they want to come on and talk about your favorite TV movie. If it's not on that list and it is a TV movie, feel free to recommend it. There's some that like we either just have missed doing. One of the things that we're like still not totally sure what we're how we're going to address and approach is that there's some TV movies with a subject matter that we just don't want to. This is a
Yeah.
podcast where we want to have a good time. We want to have fun. We
Uh,
want to like keep it light and like not to say that we're entirely avoiding. I can't even think of one off the top of my head, but like we're not going to be outright only movies that are fun or stupid. Like
yeah.
we're talking about dramatic stuff, but
We're going to be talking about a lot of movies that are about like true crime and stuff like that. But there comes a point when it's like something about like that is just about like a person dying from AIDS, and it's like it's very serious, very
there's a
just
lot of AIDS TV movies,
there is a lot of AIDS one.
especially because, a lot of theatrical studios didn't want to touch that subject. And so it makes sense. It's like one of the things that is so great and interesting about TV movies is that you're allowed to approach subjects and topics that Hollywood or like studios in general were not always so openly willing to talk about. Like you have a lot of 80s and 90s TV movies about homosexuality and trans characters and a lot of things that it took a lot longer for Hollywood to approach in a normal, uncompromising way. But not all of those make for light fare. And so we're trying to be discerning about that as well, about
Yeah.
what is and is not appropriate for us to spend our time with.
Yeah, and it's like we do have some movies that are about AIDS. Like one of the ones we have a guest who already picked out for one of the ones we have a guest who already volunteered for is Normal Cart. And that's like such a big one, and also it has all these varying perspectives. It's like that is a good one to talk about for the podcast. But I think
I
I
mean,
remember what's it?
I was just gonna say the first one, the one that one of the ones we've already recorded. Like,
Oh yeah. I
like
forgot we already recorded Gia.
yes, yes. Let's talk about our first month of programming because we did we did in one of our like meetings, sort of, I guess you could call it that, just a call where we talked about what we wanted to do. We picked out, I guess, kind of I picked out. I feel bad
No,
about it because I
we
said
both
we.
picked out.
Okay.
We both picked out. Do
Yes.
not feel
So
bad about that.
okay. So we have our first month of programming, which we are releasing on Tuesdays. So you're listening to this. We can turn this around. We're recording this Monday night, but we can get this one up tomorrow,
Oh,
right?
definitely. Like
So
it is not hard to edit
yeah,
these together.
that's fair. This is also pretty short. So next week, next Tuesday, the 7th, right?
This
January
January
7th.
7th.
Like we said, starting off with Gia, starting off with a big one, one of the more notable TV movies, a real breakthrough moment for Angelina Jolie,
Mhm.
who is also relevant in the moment now because she has Maria, which we said we were going to talk about on that episode and then forgot to talk about Maria. But
Sorry, but
uh
fun thing for you to listen out for.
yes. So it's relevant to the current Oscar conversation with her in the mix, and just it was an interesting look back on her, the very start of her career,
Mhm.
and it's a very good performance, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
But hey, save some for the episode,
yeah,
Gordon.
save it for the episode. The next week after that, do you want to
I'll do
say
that
what's up?
one.
Yes.
We have The Hanged Man, which is the second ever TV movie ever made. So
Kind
an
of.
Sort of. It's
It's
weird, like
just
what counts as a TV movie, but essentially, in this context, it means that it was the second movie to be made for TV that is similar to a theatrical movie, like with pre-film that was pre-filmed and edited and a lot of these things like that. And it's just like we wanted to make the first episode, the first TV movie, see how they run, but that
it's hard to
movie
find.
is
It's
hard to
it's
find and very
it,
expensive to find.
yeah.
So we settled for the second one, which has an upload on YouTube. Uh, yeah, and
And
it's
the
a
third
re.
one. Oh, no, sorry.
Oh, sorry, I was just gonna say like it's a remake or it's kind of a remake of Ride the Pink Horse, but really it's just kind of based on the same novel as Ride the Pink Horse. But regardless, that's what it is.
Yes.
Gordon, what's the third one?
Speaking of movies that are available on YouTube, because there's a it's Babes in Toyland from 1986, with Drew Barrymore and Keanu Reeves, which is a Christmas TV movie based on the operetta of the same name and a bunch of other adaptations, more based on like the Laurel and Hardy version and the
It's based on the
Annette
idea of
Funicello.
Babes in
It's
Toyland.
it's based on the concept of Babes in Toyland. There's I think it's on Tubi, the international release, which was cut down to 94 minutes or whatever, which is probably the one I would recommend. I didn't watch that one. I watched, and I imagine you also watched,
I also
the
watched.
145-minute version, which is on YouTube. We're recording that right after this. We already recorded the first two. We're taking a break now, and then to record this, and then we're gonna do Babes in Toyland. So we haven't given our thoughts on it to each other yet, but it's a movie. It's a TV movie. We watched it, um, and it sounds like we will have
We will
things to
talk
say
about
about
it.
it.
We will have
We'll
fun.
talk, and you can hear that on the third Tuesday, which I
That is
guess
the 21st.
that makes sense based on the fact that it was the 7th and the 14th prior.
Yeah, multiple sevens. And can you figure out
Yeah,
what the fourth date is?
the 28th.
There we go. And on January 28th, we'll release our fourth episode, which is the Stephen King miniseries, The Langoliers, with oh man, which is that's going to be a fun one. I have
It
not
is.
watched it
I
yet.
haven't either.
I think both of us are mainly familiar with memes about it or the Nostalgia Critic episode or things like that.
The only things I mean, I know the premise of it. I know the like plot of it. I know Dean Stockwell is in it, which I'm excited for because I love him.
I'm
And I have seen what the what I've seen what the Langoliers look like. I've seen the CGI. It's bad, and it is the main reason that I'm so interested in talking about the Langoliers and seeing the Langoliers is because I've had such a fascination with it purely off of that CGI for so long. Uh, so I'm excited to do that one.
and
Uh,
there's also just the fact that there are so many Stephen King miniseries and TV movies that it's like I feel like it's a good way to start off this podcast by getting one of those out of the way because
yeah,
he's going to be such an integral part of this experience.
yeah, we wanted to have a good mix of kinds of TV movie to have for this first month, starting off with Gia being a biopic, being a Showtime movie from the 90s and
HBO.
HBO, right. We already did the podcast on it. I should know that. Hanged Man being a 60s one, being a crime, drama, thriller, noir thing. And also just for the sort of meta reason of that being the second one ever for the second episode ever.
Hmm.
Babes in Toyland, which is for kids. It's a family movie. It's got stars in it. I mean, Drew Barrymore was a star at that
Yeah, she
point.
was definitely.
But Keanu Reeves, not yet, but would be. But he's a familiar face, and it also just seemed weird and fun to do. Like we should do a weird. It was the let's take a silly one. Family
I, I,
photo
as
of
you
movie.
said when we were picking the episodes, it's the kind of thing that a podcast would have in the early in their run, and you'd think, why would they do that so early? And then you listen to it because you
Yeah,
want to figure out why the fuck are they doing this?
yeah. It's like this had Oscar Buzz doing 1492 Conquest of Paradise in their first 10, uh, or something like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, Babes in Toyland, and then Langoliers horror. It's a two-parter. I wanted to get one of those in that first month. I wanted to get one of the miniseries, just to like show that we can. Stephen King, like you said. And also, I have such a weird morbid curiosity for the Langoliers that I wanted to do it as soon as possible.
Yes, it is. God, I we have not recorded that yet. Neither of us have watched it yet,
Yeah.
but I'm still so excited.
Yes. And then, like you said, we're going to be switching up the format of how we pick our episodes every month. And so at the end of that Langoliers episode, is when I think we decided that for February we'll be doing a randomizer. I
Yes,
think.
probably.
So at the end of that episode, at the end of every last episode of the month, is when we will live on air pick the next month's episodes, or announce them if we've picked them ahead of time.
Hmm.
And so, you can be on the lookout for that as well every month, is that we will have our schedules sort of announced with the releases on occasion. So that's another fun little thing to have here.
All right. Anything else you want to mention?
I don't think so.
All
Like I said, we don't have social media set up yet for this, and because we're recording this just the day before this goes up, I will probably have set up an Instagram for it tonight at the very least.
yeah.
And if you want to do the
I will
Twitter,
probably set up like the Twitter. I'm not sure if I want to do Blue Sky. I don't know. It just
well, yeah, I haven't moved my podcast or myself over there yet either. Twitter seems to be for
although no,
as
but
many
no,
problems,
we
but
need to
like
do Blue Sky because Kristoff's on Blue Sky.
that's true.
I just
Okay.
realized that.
I will let you do Blue Sky in that case.
I could do, but I don't think that they don't have like timed posts yet. And it's gonna be difficult,
I never
but
do
I'll try my
timed
best.
posts on Twitter anyway, so I post when I post, and oh well, that this is stuff that we don't need to have in this this is stuff that we'll figure out. But yeah, thank you for listening to this intro episode. Hope you tune in next week and week after that and so on to hear us
Forever.
talking about, yeah, forever for 60 years. The 60-year project.
God, that'll be so funny if we do, if we could
I
possibly
I don't
record it for
even want
60.
to like who knows if things will be around in 60 years. Who's to say? But who knows? Maybe in 2085, people will be listening back to, oh, they were so young talking about The Hanged Man and Babes in Toyland.
God, they really hit their stride in the 35th year, but it was all downhill from there.
Yeah. Isn't it weird that they're co-president now?
But fun fact about me, like I used to dream that like I would run for president in 2044.
There you go.
There we go. And I would
We've
still
been
do the podcast if I
we've
was
been
president.
president ever. We've been joint president for 40 years.
That's all right. See you guys next week. Have a great
Bye.
day.